going on, guys? It's your boy George from JP Custom Inc. I wanted to do a quick video on how to make some tags that you can use for your business, as far as like if somebody's celebrating a birthday, baby showers, and you want to make these tags here and tie it into a ribbon, with a ribbon, just to make the overall work of yours kind of stand out a little bit. I've been asked a few times, so I thought I'll do one video now that I have the time. So basically what I did is I went on Google and I just searched for like a t-shirt, and I found this image. First thing we want to do with this image, I'm gonna get right to it. It may be a two-part video. So first thing we want to do when we get an image or whatever you're trying to do, it could be a skateboard, it could be a balloon. I just decided to do this because it was for a baby shower. So first thing we want to do is hit our trace tool, select, and all we want to do is highlight this image. Anything that's black is what we're going to trace. You can always play with the threshold here. This does different things with different images. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to trace the outer edge of this image, because you can see it's got like a outer and it's got an inner layer. So I don't want it to be thick, I just want it to be one line. So I'm going to trace the outer edge, and if I take that away, as you can see, that's our image. So we can delete this or get rid of that. Where's my delete button? Delete that. Now we have our shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this shirt white. I'm going to make the edge black. The only reason I'm doing that, so when we put it here, we want to be able to see it, because if I make that white, you can't see it. So I'm going to make that black just so we can see it. Now it doesn't matter what size we have it right now. I like to keep it big so that way I can see what I'm doing. The next thing we want to do is add this small hole. So now if you go here on your draw tool, you can just get your circle. I typically just create a circle first, just like that. I want to make sure it's even, so I'll do 1.5. It doesn't matter what you do, I'm just doing that so that way it's a full circle. So we got a circle. We're going to put it here. I'm going to see how that looks. I don't mind that location at all. I'm okay with this. So what I can do is I can click and drag and highlight both of those, and I come to my transform tool, which I call lineup tool. So I'm going to line it up to the center, so it's in the center of my shirt. Now what I'm going to do to make that hole, I'm going to highlight both. I'm going to go to where it says modify panel, which is here. You want to go to divide. Now if I click divide, what's going to happen is I have my circle, which I can get rid of, but now I made the hole. Now when you get to this part, obviously we have to print it and send it to the cutter. So what you want to do is you want to put this on your mat and then go to send, and you want to see if it's going to cut where you want. So it's going to cut anything that's in red. That's where it's going to cut. It's going to cut the outer shirt, and it's going to cut my circle. So we're good there. Now if you put it on then you don't see it, it's probably like this. So you want to make sure you highlight your shirt or whatever you're doing, your artwork. You want to click cut so it'll show you. Now we can go back to our design. This part I'm not gonna do. You guys can figure that out. Basically, if you click your text, you put it here. You can type in whatever you want. Change the color, and then you can go here where it's, you open up your text tool, and then from there you can do different. I mean, I don't know what you can download certain things. This is a fresh install of Silhouette, so you can go ahead and pick which font you like the best. Okay, and then from there you can click your design, then you can shrink it, you can spin it, whatever you want to do. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on that because I think it's pretty straightforward. I do have this, right? Oh, so I dragged over one of the font that I did. You can't see it. So what you can do is right click, send this image to the back, and everything else would come to the front. So let's just say I just did that, right? I just did this font. I picked what I want. All right, let's just pretend like I just wrote this. I can't remember the font that I used. It's on my laptop. This is a new PC. Okay, so let's say, so what you want to do is I'm gonna hold shift. I'm gonna click this design or that font, this font, that font. I'm gonna right click and group it so I can move it together, and then from there I can basically size it because they're together. What I like to do is highlight both and actually align them. So I always like to keep things centered, so it's centered and it's away from the hole. I decided to throw this heart in there. You can do whatever you want, so this is just up to you how you want to do it. As a matter of fact, we can just get rid of that. And then here, like I said, you can design it how you want. You can put flowers on the sleeves. You can it's basically up to you. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just oopsie daisy, hold on a second. What I want to do, I want to group these guys together so they move together. Okay, all right, so now I can highlight everything and just click center, so that way everything is centered, and this went with it, so I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna do another thing. I want that heart to be with the bottom, so I'm gonna group it, and these guys I'm just gonna group them so everything moves together, size move together. So because I know where it is right now is where I want it. Like I said, I'm gonna use that tool again to make sure it's lined up. So what you want to do is you can take this image, put it on your mat. Like I said, right now it's huge, but we're not worrying about that right now. I just want to go to cut. I'm going to pretend like I'm sending it. Now you can see this is the stuff that's going to get printed. When you print, you're not going to see this, but your cutter knows that's all you want to be cut. Now if I had this group, let's see, if I have it all grouped together and I was going to send it to my cutter. No, that's not what I wanted to show you. This is what I wanted to show you. So anything that's in red, that's where the cut's going to be. Now I can actually click this because this is grouped together. If I see where it says no cut, now if I click cut, it's going to cut everything in red. We want to make sure you don't want anything you print to be cut, so I'm going to select no cut. So the way I had it was fine. So you just want to go here, act like you're sending it to your cutter. That way you can tell what's going to be cut. Anything in red is what's going to be cut. Okay, so now that I have it the way I want and how it's going to get cut, now what I can do is I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to right click, I'm going to group it. So now I can move everything together. My design is finished. I want to double check one more time just to make sure the only thing getting cut is the outline and that circle for the shirt. This is going to be printed. So what we're going to do is basically set this up. I want to do this at 3 inches, as you can see right here. I can zoom in just to show you. So right here, I want to make sure I get it at 3 inches, right? So I got it at 3 inches. Zoom out a little. And what I'm going to do is, before I send this to the printer, you want to make sure, first of all, our design is done, right? So now I'm going to show you how you're going to send it to the printer. The cardstock that I use is 8x11, so this is 8x11. That's okay. So before we print, we got to set up the cut. So we have to do registration marks, and right up here you should click registration marks, turn it on, and you'll see these 3 points. What I typically do on the length, I like to leave it this small because if you go this big, it takes away some space. So I don't know if you can see it, but right here you can see like a grid. You don't want your design to touch that, so I like to keep it small, but usually it's this thick and you can see it's small on the corners. What you want to do is you want to go to thickness and put that at your max, so it's very thick when it prints. That way your cutter will be able to read it, because the cutter has a laser. That laser is going to pick that up. The thicker it is, the better. The darker, the better. What you don't want to do is add light. I'll show you that when we get to that process. You don't want to add too many light because it'll reflect off the laser and it's just going to not register. It's not going to pick it up. Okay, so we got our 8x11. We have our registration mark. Design's done. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to duplicate. I'm gonna put my t-shirt right there. I'm gonna highlight both of them. I always go to my well, they said transform tool, but I call it the alignment, my alignment tool. This time I want to make sure they're even going across. I'm gonna group them. So now I have 2. I'm gonna be able to put at least 6. I'm going to duplicate those 2. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to duplicate this one. There's other ways to do it. I'm just doing it this way just so it's just easier to follow, right? So now I'm going to highlight everything. Again, I got to make sure they're all lined up. Now that they're lined up, I can group all of them together, and as you can see, they move together. Okay, so I have it perfectly. It's not touching the corners. So if I go, let's say I'm going to send it to my cutter, you can see the only thing getting cut are these guys. Okay, those are the guys that are getting cut. On the next video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the cardstock that I use, how thick it is, and when we do send it to the cutter, we want to select the cardstock plane. There's different thickness of cardstock, so you have to do different types of settings, but I'll show you which setting actually works with the one that I have. We'll do that, and then basically from here all you got to do is go to File and then click Print, select your printer, and that's it. You got to make sure your cardstock is in your printer, send it to your printer. That's it. When it prints, it's all you're gonna see in the print. All you're gonna see is just the words. You're not gonna see the outline. Basically it's just going to be white paper with the words, and you're like, where's my t-shirt? And I'll show you guys that on the next video. And what you will see is that the cutter knows that, okay, I'm going to cut the outline on the red part, so we don't need to print that area. So like I said, it's just going to be white with a white piece of paper with white fonts and the red heart. But the cutter knows that, oh, you want me to cut this shape, and that's all it's gonna do. And then I'll show you guys the results after that. So anyways, it's your boy George from JP Custom Ink. Hopefully this video helps you out. Check us out at www.jpcustomink. We have tons of stuff on there as well. I guess everybody's telling me to say click like, subscribe, and share, I guess. But yeah, we'll do video 2 coming up soon. Peace.